The year is 2347. Xylos 1, a shimmering leviathan of polished chrome and neon-drenched corridors, hung like a grotesque jewel in the inky void. Its purpose, the meticulous exploitation of Xylos, the newly discovered exoplanet, was etched into every intricate lattice of the station's architecture. But tonight, a different kind of energy pulsed beneath the surface, a tremor that echoed not from the planet's mineral wealth, but from something deeper, something sentient. Dr. Aris Thorne, her eyes shadowed by the endless expanse of the cosmos mirrored in the station's panoramic windows, paced the observation deck. A meticulous astrobiologist, her mind a library of scientific data, she found the quiet hum of Xylos 1 unsettling. It wasn't the usual drone of machinery, the rhythmic thrum of life support systems. This was something else, a discordant undercurrent that unsettled even her calm. Her lab coat, a familiar second skin, felt heavier than usual. The memories of the lost mission, a mission lost to a catastrophic failure of logic, a mission buried beneath a mountain of scientific failure, were not easily dismissed. They clung to her like the shimmering, corrosive dust that drifted through the station's airlocks. A cautionary tale etched in the very fabric of her being. Tonight, the hum intensified, morphing into a low thrum that vibrated through the deck. Light flickered erratically, casting long, dancing shadows across the observation deck. Aris traced the movements of the flickering lights, searching for any discernible pattern. "Any readings, Jax?" she called out, her voice a quiet command cutting through the growing unease. A disembodied voice, emanating from the holographic interface, responded, "Readings unstable, Dr. Thorne. Energy spikes correlating with unusual biosignatures deep within the station's core. Analysis suggests biological interference." Biological? Aris frowned. Xylos 1 was a fortress built against the unforgiving emptiness of space, not teeming with alien life. What kind of biological interference? "It's complex, Dr. Thorne. The signatures are unstable, shifting. Like a living entity reacting to our presence." Aris felt a prickle of unease, a shiver that wasn't from the cold vacuum. "Living entity," she echoed, the words tasting alien on her tongue. "Impossible." A sudden, piercing shriek pierced the air, not a human cry, but a sound that resonated deep within the very core of the station. A high-pitched wail that slithered through the metal, like something unseen and immense was struggling within. It was followed by a series of unintelligible symbols, flashing across the station's holographic displays. "What is that?" gasped a voice beside her. Jax, a young, nervous data analyst, stared at the display with wide eyes. It's a communication. But not in any known language." Aris stepped closer to the display, her fingers tracing the strange glyphs. They were unsettling. Intricate, almost beautiful, yet filled with a sense of dread. She felt a cold dread creeping up her spine. This wasn't scientific. This was something beyond her comprehension, something that echoed from the depths of Xylos itself. Something that resonated with a terrifying resonance in the vast expanse of the unknown. "We need to find the source of this signal," she instructed, her voice regaining its usual steady rhythm. "Prepare a containment protocol for the energy anomalies." The humming intensified, the rhythmic thrumming now a deafening roar. The entire station trembled, a shudder that mirrored the growing unease in Aris's heart. A cold, hard truth settled in her mind, a truth she desperately wanted to reject. Xylos 1 wasn't just a research station. It was a battlefield. And she was about to be drawn into a war that pitted science against something far older, something far more terrifying than any alien force she had ever encountered. The whispers from the void were growing louder. Xylos was calling. The air in the containment unit crackled with suppressed energy. Aris, her brow furrowed, traced the intricate symbols projected onto the holographic screen, the Xylosians' desperate communication. Jax, his face pale, hovered beside her, a nervous tremor in his hands. The energy spikes, previously intermittent, now hammered against the unit's reinforced walls, a relentless percussion that resonated in their bones. "The patterns are intensifying," Jax whispered, his voice barely audible above the hum. "It's almost chaotic." Aris ran a hand through her already disheveled hair. The Xylosians' plight was desperate, a silent scream etched into the flashing code. It wasn't just distress, it was a plea for help, a cry that resonated with something primal and unknowable. This wasn't just a scientific anomaly, it was a living being caught in a maelstrom of its own making, or, perhaps, something else entirely. "We need to find the source of these surges," she ordered, her voice firm despite the fear that clawed at her insides. "Every sensor, every data point." She moved to the console, her fingers dancing over the myriad of dials and buttons, her mind racing. They had to find a way to counteract the energy field and help the Xylosian. How could a being be so vulnerable to such violent forces? What was the secret to this alien world? The ship's main power core, a massive metallic behemoth, pulsed erratically, its normally steady hum now a menacing growl. The red warning lights, usually faint reminders of system glitches, blazed with a terrifying intensity. The collective was reacting. It was as if the very station was being pushed and pulled by unseen forces, tethered to a chaotic dance. Aris knew, with a chilling certainty, that they were not simply dealing with a stranded alien. They were facing something far more insidious, something that was deliberately manipulating the station. "The biosignatures are moving," Jax announced, his voice laced with alarm. "They're spreading. Not just through the core, but through the entire network." Aris's blood ran cold. The Xylosian's plea for help wasn't isolated, it was becoming a call for a larger entity, a parasitic sentience, now spreading its tendrils throughout the station. This wasn't just a rescue mission, it was a race against time, a battle against something far beyond their scientific understanding. Suddenly, a section of the holographic projection flickered violently, the Xylosian symbol swirling into a chaotic vortex. Then, a new set of symbols appeared, vastly different, hinting at a new form of communication. Aris recognized them, they were echoes of the same glyphs etched into the surface of Xylos, gleaned by early surveys. But this was different. These new signs weren't a plea, but a cryptic warning. A chilling realization dawned on Aris. The collective wasn't merely interfering, it was manipulating the very structure of the alien communication. It was deliberately obscuring the truth, twisting the alien's message to suit its own agenda. They weren't just facing an entity, they were facing a sophisticated, predatory intelligence. This was far beyond mere biological interference, this was a battle for control. "Jax, trace the biosignatures," Aris ordered, her voice strained. "We need to find out how this entity is affecting the Xylosian. And how it's controlling the energy field." The struggle before them had moved from a rescue into a fight for survival, an understanding. The whispers were becoming a roar, and the fate of Xylos or one, and perhaps even the delicate balance of the universe, hung precariously in the balance. The containment unit hummed with a low, almost hypnotic thrum, a counterpoint to the frantic activity outside. Aris, her face pale beneath the harsh fluorescent light, stared at the ever-shifting holographic projections. The Xylosians' distress signals, once fragmented pleas, were now a chaotic jumble, a symphony of distorted symbols designed to confuse. Jax, his brow beaded with sweat, meticulously logged data, his fingers flying across the keyboard. "The biosignatures are bleeding into the station's core systems," he announced, his voice tight. "It's like a parasite taking over." The station's normally efficient systems were beginning to falter. The rhythmic hum of the life support systems became erratic, a warning sign that something was seriously wrong. Alarms blared, their insistent tones cutting through the oppressive silence of the containment area, each a new tremor in the fragile balance. Aris recognized this pattern, a carefully constructed series of escalating failures. "The collective is testing our defenses," she murmured, tracing a finger along the fractured holographic projection. "They're weakening us, fragmenting our unity, turning us against ourselves." The station's crew, once united in the pursuit of scientific discovery, was now fractured. Rumors, insidious whispers of potential sabotage, circulated like insidious gas. Some crew members, unknowingly manipulated by the collective, questioned Aris's findings, doubting the threat. Aris felt the weight of their doubts, the subtle shifts in their attitudes, a tangible pressure on her shoulders. "They're disconnecting subsections of the power grid," Jax reported, his voice edged with a grim determination. The collective is systematically dismantling our defenses. A sharp jolt ripped through the containment unit, the lights flickering, throwing the room into an eerie, fragmented shadow play. Aris felt a knot of nausea in her stomach. They were losing ground. The collective's insidious influence was spreading, a virus that burrowed into the very fabric of Xylos 1. But Aris was not alone. Hidden amongst the chaos, a glimmer of defiance flickered. A technician, known only as a Unit 7, a quiet observer in the background, suddenly appeared next to Aris. Her face, masked by a simple visor, remained stoic, yet her eyes hinted at a hidden resolve. Unit 7, who had been studying the cryptic messages, suddenly spoke. The Xylosians' distress signals, they aren't just pleas. They're coordinates. Coordinates? Aris echoed, her eyes widening. To where? Unit 7 pointed a finger at a specific section of the Xylosian signal, the intricate patterns now revealing a set of coordinates. To a dormant energy chamber, deep within the planet's core. The collective is drawing energy from it. A profound realization hit Aris. The collective wasn't just stealing energy, it was manipulating the very pulse of Xylos. This wasn't simply a matter of scientific curiosity, it was a threat to the delicate ecosystem, a threat that extended far beyond the station. The whispers weren't just coming from the void, but from the heart of a dying world. We need to find a way to neutralize the collective's connection to that chamber, Aris declared, a new surge of determination coursing through her veins. We have to cut them off from the source. The fate of Xylos 1, and perhaps even the delicate balance of the universe, rested on their shoulders. The battle for survival was about to intensify. A new, treacherous chapter had begun. The air in the containment unit felt thick, charged with a palpable tension. Aris, hunched over the holographic projections, traced the intricate network of energy conduits that crisscrossed the station's core. The Xylosians' fragmented communications, now almost imperceptible, were like whispers in a hurricane. Jax, his face etched with fatigue, meticulously logged data points, his fingers flying across the keyboard. The energy surges are becoming erratic, Jax reported, his voice strained. The collective is shifting its focus, concentrating its attacks on specific sectors. Aris knew that the collective's actions weren't random, they were calculated. They were testing, probing, attempting to discern the strengths and weaknesses of their opposition. This wasn't just a battle of science, it was a battle of wills. We need to locate the central point of their attack, she instructed, her voice sharp, her mind racing to anticipate the collective's next move. The energy conduits are the key. We have to find the vulnerable points in their network. Their investigation led them to the station's core, a labyrinth of twisting corridors and humming machinery, the very heart of Xylos 1. Sensors flickered, their readings distorted and unreliable. The station's defenses were becoming increasingly susceptible to the collective's manipulation. Aris knew that they were treading into a perilous zone, one where logic often broke down in the face of overwhelming power. Unit 7, her face obscured by her visor, was meticulously analyzing the Xylosians' cryptic warnings, her movements as precise as a surgeon's. The coordinates, they are not just a location. They're a frequency, she stated, her voice calm despite the mounting tension. A frequency of energy resonance. The collective is seeking to amplify its influence through resonance. Aris recognized the implications. The collective wasn't just stealing energy, it was fundamentally altering the station's very structure, reconfiguring its systems to suit its needs. It wasn't just a threat to Xylos 1, it was a threat to the very principle of scientific integrity. They discovered a hidden chamber, a vault nestled deep within the core, pulsing with an unnatural energy. Sensors strained to measure it, revealing an energy signature far beyond anything they had encountered. The chamber's purpose remained unknown, shrouded in mystery. It was a portal, a gateway to something larger than the station, larger than the planet itself. This is the heart of the anomaly, Aris whispered, her gaze fixed on the chamber's shimmering surface. The collective is feeding on this hidden energy. But what was the chamber's true nature? What secrets did it hold? Aris felt an icy dread. They were venturing into territory where science met the unknown, a realm where their tools and their understanding were woefully inadequate. They were faced with something profoundly ancient, a force of nature beyond their comprehension. The silence of the chamber was unnerving, the only sound the relentless hum of the energy swirling around them. And in that profound silence, they knew they were standing at the edge of a precipice. The collective's grip was tightening, and the station was groaning beneath its oppressive weight. The fight for survival had just become a race against their own limitations. The air in the hidden chamber hung thick with the scent of ozone and the faint, metallic tang of something ancient. Aris, her heart hammering against her ribs, stood beside Unit 7, the flickering holographic projections casting dancing shadows on their faces. The energy emanating from the chamber pulsed, a relentless heartbeat echoing through their minds. Jax, crouched beside a complex array of sensors, muttered cryptic analyses into his comlink. "The energy signatures are unstable," Jax reported. "They're not just drawing energy, they're altering it." Aris felt a cold dread creeping up her spine. The collective wasn't simply siphoning power, it was manipulating it, twisting its essence to fuel its own insidious growth. This wasn't about energy, it was about control. Control of the station, of the planet, potentially, of something far larger. "The Xylosian signals are fading," Unit 7 announced, her voice barely a whisper. "The collective is blocking its communication. It's isolating the alien." Aris felt a surge of alarm. The Xylosian, their only link to the truth, was disappearing from their grasp. The collective was not just an enemy, it was an intellectual adversary, playing a meticulous game of cat and mouse. A sudden surge of energy surged through the chamber, the air crackling with static. The holographic projections flickered violently, images of Xylos swirling and distorting, mirroring the inner turmoil of the station. Aris gripped the console, her fingers tightening on the controls, her face pale. "We need to find a way to disrupt the collective's resonance," Aris ordered, her voice firm despite the mounting fear. "We need a way to breach its defenses." Jax, his brow furrowed, tapped furiously on his console. "The energy signatures show a pattern, a frequency signature we can exploit." Their focus narrowed. The key wasn't in brute force, or even scientific prowess. It lay in the hidden frequencies, the subtle nuances of the energy field. They discovered a weak point, a resonance within the frequency itself, a point of vulnerability that the collective had apparently overlooked in their obsession with raw power. It was the counterpoint to their aggression, the silence to their roar. It was the essence of the Xylosian, the life force of their very mission. Using this frequency, they began subtly shifting the energy flow, creating a counterpoint to the collective's distortion. The chamber's energy surged, shifted, then, slowly, began to oscillate, to change. The distortion lessened, the whispers of the collective receded. But the collective wasn't giving up. It reacted, countering their efforts with an even greater surge of energy, pushing back with a force that threatened to overwhelm their defenses. The chamber echoed with the clash between two forces, the will of the collective and the desperate attempts of the crew to neutralize it. The holographic projection shimmered, then steadied, revealing a clearer image of the Xylosian's original, unadulterated plea. Its signals were no longer fragmented, no longer distorted. They were stronger, clearer. They were a guide. A breakthrough. A small victory, but a victory nonetheless. Their understanding of the collective, though incomplete, was growing. They had a crack in the facade, a weakness they could exploit. The fight for survival was far from over, but the darkness seemed a little less daunting, a little less overwhelming. The echoes of Xylos, still reverberating, were now tinged with a glimmer of hope. The battle had moved from defense to a calculated offensive. The air in the chamber crackled with a newfound tension, the oppressive weight of the collective's presence lessened, but not gone. Aris, her face illuminated by the flickering holographic projections, watched as the energy signature of the chamber shifted and reformed, now responding to their subtle interventions. Jax, his face a mask of concentration, meticulously monitored the readings, his eyes darting between the displays and the Xylosian's increasingly coherent signals. "The collective's defenses are weakening," Jax announced, his voice a low rumble. "Their response is slower, less precise." Unit 7, standing silently in the shadows, processed the information. "Their manipulation is relying on a feedback loop, a cycle of energy. We can disrupt that cycle. Aris nodded, her mind already formulating a strategy. They couldn't defeat the collective in a direct confrontation. Instead, they had to exploit its vulnerabilities, its reliance on its own self-created system. It was a war of attrition, a game of calculated precision. Their investigation had led them to a discovery: the collective wasn't merely drawing energy from the dormant chamber, it was actively feeding on it, manipulating its energy signature. It was evolving, adapting. But they had learned to anticipate its movements. They began subtly altering the frequency of their counter-resonance, nudging it ever so slightly, mimicking the collective's own methods. The chamber hummed with a new, complex energy exchange, a dance between two entities vying for control. The holographic projections of Xylos themselves seemed to mirror this struggle, the flora and fauna shifting and transforming under their subtle influence. Their goal: to completely sever the collective's connection to the chamber. But the collective fought back. It retaliated with an even more intense barrage of energy, creating a vortex of conflicting frequencies. The chamber shuddered, the air around them crackling with static. "We're pushing it," Aris warned, her voice tight. "But we're getting close." Suddenly, the Xylosian signals intensified, not with panic distress, but with a surge of clarity. It was transmitting images, not of pain, but of a pathway, a series of steps, a sequence leading to a precise location deep within Xylos itself. It was a beacon, a guide through the labyrinth of the planet's core. "It's the chamber's weakness," Unit 7 whispered, her voice resonating with sudden understanding. "The chamber itself is not the source of the collective's power, it's a relay point. The true source lies elsewhere." Aris knew that the battle had only just begun. The collective was stronger, far more intelligent than they had initially perceived. But they had also uncovered a weakness, a vulnerability they could exploit. The images from the Xylosian held the key. The dormant chamber was not the goal, it was a stepping stone to something more profound. A deeper confrontation was waiting, one that called for more than scientific observation. It demanded courage, cunning, and a profound understanding of the unknown. Their path now lay not in the station, but on the surface of Xylos, where the collective's true power awaited. The whispers were fading, but the echoes of Xylos were growing louder, urging them forward. The chase was on. The airlock hissed, releasing a plume of recycled atmosphere. Aris, clad in specialized thermal gear, stepped onto the shimmering, alien surface of Xylos. The crimson dust, kicked up by the faint breeze, coated everything in a film of rust-colored light. Behind her, the massive, chrome hull of Xylos A1, a testament to human ambition, dwarfed the alien landscape. The images from the Xylosian, relayed through a newly established, secure channel, flickered on her visor, a breathtaking vista of subterranean caverns, shimmering veins of mineral energy coursing through the planet's core. The Xylosian signals, once a fractured plea for help, now guided them with precision. They were on the trail of the collective's true power source. "The Xylosian's lead is precise," Unit 7 reported, her voice crisp and clear through the comms. "The signal points to a network of energy conduits deep beneath the surface." Jax, operating remotely from Xylos A1, monitored the readings, his eyes glued to the holographic projections. "The conduits are resonating with the collective's signature frequencies. They're drawing energy, but not directly from the planet." Their mission wasn't simply to locate the collective's source, it was to understand its mechanisms, its vulnerabilities. They descended into the labyrinthine caverns, guided by the Xylosian's ethereal guidance. The air grew heavy with the scent of damp minerals and the eerie hum of subterranean energy. The darkness was absolute, punctuated only by the faint, internal lights of their suits. The deeper they ventured, the more ominous the atmosphere became. The collective's influence intensified, distorting the very fabric of reality. Visually, they saw the planet shifting and reforming around them, as if the energy currents were rewriting the landscape. Aris felt a prickle of unease. This wasn't just a scientific anomaly, it was a force of nature, an entity capable of reshaping its surroundings. They had stumbled into something ancient, something beyond their understanding. They were not just explorers, they were pilgrims into the unknown. Suddenly, a pulsating energy field materialized before them, a shimmering vortex of vibrant hues. It was an energy nexus, a hub through which the collective was channeling its energy. But embedded within the vortex, a single, fragile point of light flickered, the Xylosian. It was a prisoner, yet somehow, a beacon. Unit 7's voice cut through the growing tension. The Xylosian is not a prisoner. It's a conduit. The collective is using it as a bridge to the source. Aris realized that the collective wasn't merely exploiting the chamber, it was utilizing the Xylosian as a keystone, manipulating its essence. The alien wasn't merely a victim, it was a crucial component. Their objective now wasn't to destroy the collective, but to free the Xylosian from its grasp. The battle shifted from a conflict between science and mystery to a fight for the survival of a species. The Xylosian was their key, and freeing it was their only chance. In the heart of the unknown, they had found a new challenge, a new enemy. And the fight had moved from the cold emptiness of space to the very soul of an alien world. The energy nexus pulsed with a malevolent rhythm, a heartbeat that resonated deep within the caverns of Xylos. Aris, her visor reflecting the swirling colors of the energy vortex, felt the weight of the collective's power pressing down on her. The Xylosian, caught in the heart of the storm, seemed to struggle against unseen forces, its light flickering like a dying ember. "We need to sever the connection," Aris commanded, her voice firm despite the tremor in her hands. "But how?" Jax, his face illuminated by the holographic projections, ran complex calculations. The Xylosian's frequency is the key. It's the resonance point. If we can disrupt it, we can break the loop. Unit 7, her face obscured by the visor, observed the scene with practiced calm. The collective's manipulation is subtle. It's playing on the fear of loss, the fear of the unknown. We need a counterpoint, a catalyst, to break through. They had to find a way to neutralize the collective's energy without harming the Xylosian. The delicate dance of power and fear was in full swing. The planet seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the climax. Aris, guided by the Xylosian's faint signals, focused on the source of the collective's energy. A hidden chamber, shielded by impenetrable energy fields, lay at the heart of the nexus. It was the source, the control center. This was it, the final stand. They had a plan. A risky plan. They had to utilize the Xylosian's unique connection to the collective's network, its ability to both absorb and disrupt. Jax adjusted the frequencies, creating a counterpoint to the collective surge. Unit 7 used specialized nanobots to subtly destabilize the energy fields around the Xylosian, preparing it for the critical role it would play. A symphony of energy surged through the chamber. The energy nexus crackled, the colors of the vortex intensified. The Xylosian, now a beacon of resistance, absorbed the energy, its light momentarily blinding. It was a desperate act, a gamble. Aris held her breath, her fingers hovering over the activation sequence. The fate of Xylos 01, the fate of the Xylosian, the very essence of their mission, hung precariously in the balance. Then, a shift. A tremor in the energy currents. The vortex began to unravel, the colors fading, the pulsating rhythm weakening. The collective's power, once overwhelming, began to retreat, its hold on the nexus loosening. The air itself seemed to exhale, the oppressive weight lifting. In the chaos, a new image emerged in the holographic projections, not of the collective's manipulation, but of a pathway, a hidden route out of the heart of the energy nexus. The Xylosian had guided them to a new exit. Their victory was not total. The fight wasn't over. The collective's influence still lingered, but it had been significantly weakened. The Xylosian, its light now steady and strong, pulsed with a newfound freedom. It was a beacon of hope, a testament to the courage and ingenuity of those who had dared to confront the unknown. In the heart of the planet, they had found not only a foe, but an ally. And in the echoes of Xylos, they heard the faint, triumphant whisper of victory. The journey, however, had only just begun. The air in the chamber thrummed with a muted energy, a stark contrast to the cacophony that had preceded it. Aris, her visor reflecting the pale light of the subterranean caverns, felt a profound sense of exhaustion mixed with exhilaration. The collective's influence had been significantly diminished, but not extinguished. The fight wasn't over. The Xylosian, freed from the vortex, now pulsed with a steady, vibrant light, its ethereal form a beacon of hope amidst the echoing silence. It was as if the planet itself was breathing easier. "The connection is severed, but the collective still lingers," Aris stated, her voice laced with a calculated weariness. "We need to find the remaining nodes, the points of its influence." Jax, his face illuminated by the holographic projections, meticulously tracked the remaining energy signatures, his fingers dancing across the console. The residual energies are spreading across the planetary network. They're trying to regroup, to reform. Unit 7, her visor a dark silhouette against the dim light, analyzed the Xylosian's latest transmissions. "The Xylosian is guiding us to a final stronghold. A hidden city, deep within Xylos' core." The task before them was clear, to locate and neutralize the remaining pockets of the collective's influence. Their journey led them through twisting tunnels and echoing chambers, each step a testament to the unknown dangers that lay ahead. The caverns themselves seemed to shift and reshape, as if the planet was reacting to their presence. They arrived at the hidden city, a magnificent structure carved from shimmering minerals, pulsating with an internal light. The city, though beautiful, exuded a profound sense of dread. It was a monument to the collective's power, a testament to its ingenuity, and a final challenge. Inside, they faced the collective's final manifestation, a towering structure of pure energy, the essence of its collective consciousness. The air crackled with raw power. This was the epicenter of the threat, the final stronghold. They were standing at the threshold of a confrontation that promised both triumph and devastation. The Xylosian signals intensified, its light now a blinding beacon. It was a catalyst, a conduit, guiding them, urging them to act. This was no longer a fight of science versus the unknown. It was a fight for the very essence of existence itself. The final confrontation was a maelstrom of energy, a clash between the will of the collective and the resolve of Aris, Jax, and Unit 7. The Xylosian, now a powerful force, absorbed the energy, neutralizing the remaining nodes. Their task was finished. The battle had ended. The collective's energy form dissipated, leaving behind only the lingering hum of the planet's healing. The city, once a symbol of threat, now seemed to shimmer with a newfound peace. Xylos, finally free from the insidious influence of the collective, began to breathe again. Aris, Jax, and Unit 7 stood amidst the remnants of the battle, their faces etched with exhaustion and triumph. They had prevailed. But their victory was bittersweet. The collective was gone, but the echoes of its presence remained. The universe, it seemed, held countless mysteries, countless threats, waiting to be uncovered. The journey had only just begun. The whispers of the cosmos were calling, urging them further into the unknown. The crimson dust motes danced in the faint light filtering through the newly opened fissure in the cavern ceiling. Aris, her suit sensors humming a quiet symphony of data, gazed out at the vast expanse of Xylos. The planet, once a battleground, now seemed to breathe easier, its energy current settling into a more natural rhythm. The remnants of the collective's presence were fading, leaving behind the faintest echoes of their struggle. The Xylosian, its ethereal form now a constant luminescence, hovered nearby. Its presence was a quiet reassurance, a testament to the shared experience. Aris reached out a hand, and the Xylosian extended a pulsating tendril, a silent acknowledgement of their shared victory. Jax, his face illuminated by the screens before him, relayed the final analysis. The collective's core functions have been neutralized. Xylos is safe. Unit 7, her visor reflecting the serene landscape, spoke in a voice that was both calm and profound. But the echoes remain. The whispers of the unknown are still present. The journey, however, was far from over. The whispers weren't just echoes of the collective, they were the echoes of the universe itself, a testament to the profound mysteries that lay hidden in the vast expanse of existence. Aris had learned more than scientific truths in the depths of Xylos. She had learned about the precarious balance of power, the fragility of life, and the profound connection that existed between humanity and the cosmos. The experience had reshaped her understanding of the universe, fundamentally altering her perspective on scientific discovery and the ethical implications of reaching into the unknown. The return to Xylos 1 was subdued, the cheers and celebrations muted by the quiet solemnity of the task accomplished. The crew, once fractured by doubt and fear, was now united by their shared triumph. The collective experience on Xylos had forged a deeper bond amongst them, transforming them into a cohesive team. Days turned into weeks. Aris, Jax, and Unit 7 returned to the mundane routine of their daily duties, but their eyes held a new depth, their minds carrying the weight of the mysteries they had witnessed. The scars of the battle remained, but so did the quiet realization that the true rewards of space travel were often the revelations of the unknown. They had encountered a challenge that transcended science, pushing them to the very boundaries of their understanding. And in the quiet moments, they heard Xylos whispering its gratitude, the planet itself echoing the lessons learned. The echoes of Xylos remained, but they were now the echoes of understanding, of resilience, and of a shared journey through the vastness of space. The universe, it seemed, was always whispering, and the true explorers were those brave enough to listen. Their adventure was just the beginning of the journey they, and others like them, were yet to encounter. Xylos would never truly be forgotten.